Recording, we will start the meeting. Okay. Good morning and welcome to this January the 11th meeting of the Coalition of Little Rock Neighborhoods by Zoom. Turns out we were really smart to schedule this at the first of the week, since by today the roads are really deadly out there. And I'm not even sure that the city would have opened the building. Left that hanging when we decided to go into Zoom mode. But we are recording this because we're going to be getting the benefit of some really excellent research that our technical specialist, Mary Henthorn, has conducted for us on the subject of tracking back criminals who are attempting fraudulent scams for services they will not render in ads on our neighborhood Facebook pages. But as we always do to start off with, we're going to introduce ourselves. So I'm Kathy Wells. I'm the president. Welcome. I come up from the Downtown Neighborhood Association where I am vice president. Robert, introduce yourself.
I am Robert Walker, and I am in the Capitol Butte Station neighborhood area. And when I pay my dues, I'll be a member again. We changed the dues in January, so I haven't done that yet and everything. But I'm in my house. I've got 3 pods on my yard, but I'm hoping to start getting rid of pods and getting the furniture back in my house, which will help a lot and it'll crowd up the house again. That's me.
Okay, John Hedrick.
John Hedrick, and member of Petaway and Downtown Neighborhood Association.
Nanita. She's going to be a moment getting herself organized. Denise, tell us yourself.
You're muted.
Do I have to unmute them?
No, they have to unmute themselves.
I'm sorry. I can hear you. Hi, I'm Nanita Danielle Claiborne, and currently reelected as president for Petaway Neighborhood Association, while in the meantime working on 2 other neighborhood associations that is not up yet, but will be. And I will be visible within the next 10 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, darling. Denise Leeson.
Good morning. My apologies for the noise and for being late. It's been so long since I've used Zoom that I had to install an update, and it's Monday, right? I'm in the Central High neighborhood, past president of our neighborhood association, and like the rest of you, homebound. Thanks.
Thank you. Carolyn Miles.
Hi, I'm Carol Miles, Arkansas Director of DePaul USA, member of Stevens Neighborhood.
Rip Weaver.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Rip Weaver, I'm with Downtown Neighborhood Association, newly elected secretary, and have been active with the CLRN for a couple of years now.
Great. Welcome all. Let's see, did I have everybody here? Let us start with Mary's taking us through her discoveries of crooks and how she detected them and how we're dealing with them. And as other folks join us, then we will pause and welcome them to the group. Mary,
Okay.
you are a retired computer specialist, a graduate of the Clinton School of Public Service, and once again, we are so grateful you contribute your services to the benefit of the coalition.
Oh, thank you. And I'm happy to be here, and I do find security issues interesting and even fun to work with, as long as I'm not the victim of the moment. I do have a background in computer science. I have bachelor and master's degrees from UA Little Rock and 40 years of government work. So I've spent lots of time with security issues, and they're always with us and always changing. There have always been scams. It's even more than human nature. When my dog will bring me a toy and she'll pull it right back. It's a It can be a method of play. People can come and ring your doorbell and run away, and isn't that funny? If you're 10 years old, I guess it's really funny for us old folks going to the door, find nothing there. It's annoying. But scams can be a lot more than annoying. We've had the term snake oil for a long time. I've never seen a bottle of snake oil, but if you tell me someone's a snake oil salesman, I know just what you're talking about. And these scams that affect money are ones that really can get under our skin. But we do fall for it. I think I'm pretty smart. I lived on Arch Street for many years, a wonderful neighborhood, great neighbors, big front porch, great place to meet people. And this guy comes to the front porch one day, dressed nicely, had a badge hung around his neck and carried a clipboard. And this was years ago. He was talking about a particular difficulty some people were going through and had all these facts and figures. And could I make a little contribution? And yeah, I gave him $20. And then I heard from my neighbors about this scam guy that's walking around the neighborhood with a clipboard and taking money from all of it. Yeah, we fall for it. And they say that error is human, but to really screw up requires a computer. Computers are just given another platform for scams. And it goes way back. Remember, and it can be just fun stuff. Going back 50 years, as a young woman, I would walk into the office with my eyes half closed first thing in the morning. Before starting the coffee pot, I would walk over to the printer, open it up, line it to the top of the page, and hit start so that all the paper from the night before could start printing. And you remember those big old printers, you've at least seen them on TV, that put out these reams of continuous form paper.
Yes.
Not reams, whole boxes of continuous form papers. Well, sometimes the economist boys from down the hall would come into our statistical office and use our equipment, share our equipment. This was federal government. And if they used the printer first, they thought it was to set it so there would be no page stop. So I'd come in, hit the button, and the paper would start flying, and suddenly my eyes are open, I'm wide awake and jumping around trying to stop the paper. Computer scams go way back, and they can be harmless, just embarrassing or shocking for a moment. I think of one going back 40 years instead of 50. If you look on your keyboard, we used to type dir, like directory, to get a list of our files. But someone set it up on the computer, and this is the backroom computer for a 4-story building, that if you type DIE, which is very easy mistake to make, to give a whole message that you're shutting down the computer. Not just the computer on your desk, but it looks like you're shutting down this computer for a 4-story building. Just a no problem. But we're seeing from even back 30 years ago with viruses, we're starting to see things that affect money. And people found a way to make money by putting out viruses that trick you into clicking on something and then being a mess. They usually have something that pulls you in, some type of clickbait, some sense of urgency, and they can be really bad. Have you seen the movie Thelma? I know Kathy's seen it, where the older woman falls for the scam. Okay. We're really in a user beware situation. So let's look at this specific scam that we're talking about and how it affects you. Um, anything you want to share about your own experiences with scam before I start screen sharing and getting into this one?
Well, it wasn't exactly a scheme, but my initial contractor on this house called me up and wanted to get paid. I'm still paying him for the pods, and he's getting 5% of that every month, to keep him interested. But he told me he had to be paid, and all I had to do was type down, I authorize this payment. He'd gotten checks from me and he had it set up. And by golly, I'm sure the money's out of the bank now. So anytime you hand out a check, apparently they can just set it up to get money out of your account. It's that easy. And at least he got paid for some work. Of course, they washed their hands in my kitchen sink after they mudded and taped, which meant all that gunk went down my drain pipes, and I was afraid I was going to have to hire a rooter service because the water was boiling around the base of my toilet. So, and these were just guys. He can tell people to come over to my house and work, and then he sends me a big bill, and it comes right out of my checking account. So he said I had to type down that I authorized this payment, or otherwise he could go to jail. But I'm not sure they'd get him in jail.
Anybody have other scams they want to share?
I had a similar, I guess, kind of similar one. It was in East Texas. County judge worked very closely with. He and his wife were both great advocates, and had an email one day that they were traveling in Europe somewhere and had
Oh,
been
that one.
arrested and yeah, and needed money and so on and so forth. And it sounded so believable, but then I stopped and called him on his cell phone, and no, he was fine at home and whatever. So, but it did sound so believable, and you had that impulse that you really want to help them. So,
Yeah, you've got that sense of urgency and an assumed identity. Yeah. Well, let's take a look at this particular scam. I'm gonna share my screen now. If I can find the right thing. Okay. This is something that is currently posted on the downtown neighborhood site. This Bradley Flores saying, anyone looking for duct cleaning services, we have slots available, reasonable prices. Does anybody know Bradley Flores?
All we see is a list of files. We're not seeing the image. If you thought you were transmitting the image, it's not there.
You're seeing a list of files.
Yes.
Yeah, we see your Microsoft Office listing. You're highlighted on the screenshot, duct cleaning DNA doc.
But it's not making itself known.
Let me stop the share and go back to it.
Yeah.
What do you see?
There we go.
Okay. Okay. Good. This is typical. This particular screenshot is typical of what the duct cleaning looks like. Does anybody know Bradley Flores?
Nope.
Okay. I doubt if anybody would. It's probably a made-up name. I'm going to try to expand this. No, that won't work.
That just enlarged it.
Yeah, let me see. Maybe you can kind of see, and I'll show you some more, that this is typical, a nice looking couple. If you looked up Bradley Flores's Facebook information, it would probably show him as self-employed and living somewhere around here, and it wouldn't make any friends visible. It's been interesting to note that as we see a whole lot of these, that they're always white. They're claiming to be local. And I think this would be something really unusual in Little Rock. We're very mixed here. You expect to see people of various shades, not just these happy looking white folks. The Downtown Neighborhood Association Facebook is a public page, a public group, and has, Kathy, how many people?
7,000 plus the last I remember. It's absurd, and we don't understand why they're there. I'm beginning to suspect it's because a lot of leeches have attached themselves in an attempt to commit fraud with the aid of local talent. And that's something I want us to pay attention to. When you hear about tracking it back to Pakistan, you think, oh, well, I can just put it off to one side and not respond. But they have made a partnership with someone who will come to your door and pretend to service and demand money.
Yeah,
And
we'll look at a document in a little bit that shows just how this scam happened. And I'll show you here a little more of what the scams look like. Now, the Downtown Neighborhood Association Facebook group is a public group. Anyone can join it. Anyone can not only see it, but can participate in it. And there are a lot of posts from legitimate local businesses. And if that's the intention of the group, that's wonderful. It does make it a little harder to moderate. With the Coalition of Little Rock Neighborhoods group that you should be able to see on the screen now, it's a private group where each individual is admitted to the group. But with 389 members, it shows right now we have almost 50 whose origin are Pakistan. I'll show you how we do that, or we can get into that later. But it is a moderated group, and we restrict the postings to information that's of concern to the coalition's work. So we don't post small business advertisements like a lot of neighborhood sites could legitimately want to do. So we haven't had any of these posts actually posted because they're the kind of posts we wouldn't post anyway. But after seeing several attempts at posts for duck cleaning. That seemed unusual. These were people whose names I'd never heard of before, claimed to be small, self-employed people from downtown Little Rock or Little Rock. And, so I'm going to move something over here. Yeah. Okay. Here are pending approvals. None of these get approved because we don't post small business things. Here's one from Robert Belton, who's been around a lot, and I'm going to show him again where Facebook says he's scam. But my most recent attempt to close all these down, Facebook says, oh, they fall within they don't fall outside our range of allowable posts. So Facebook isn't protecting us on this. You have to figure it out yourself.
But if they don't protect us, Mary, how do we protect ourselves? Are you able to
You start
remove these
noticing
folks?
that, duck cleaning is a scam. Other things maybe too. So some of the things that you're going to watch for, I'm going to point out later, but you can notice just going through what's pending and not approved on the coalition site that we have repeats of the same person. First and last name are often both first names. The picture of you can't see this very well. You'll see it other places. If you go and follow up on Richard Perry, you can look at his profile. There is no option to friend him. The picture is this happy little white family. Yeah, look how attractive they make it. Here's another one. Here's another one. So get a little suspicious when you have post after post on duck cleaning. And look at all these little happy white families. Oh, and here's Robert Belton again. Didn't we see him somewhere else? And here's Robert Belton again. Okay. Those are our pending approvals. Let's look at what Facebook says is our potential spam on this site. Oh, Chris Flores. We just saw Chris Flores with the Downtown Neighborhood Association advertising duck cleaning.
Where does it say he's a potential spam?
Potential spam over on the left.
Oh, thank you.
These are ones
from
that
the
Facebook
beginning, dear.
has identified as potential spam. Here's our Robert Bolton again. One time, Facebook catches it as spam, but this is garage door repair. But the other two pending requests, duct cleaning that I reported as spam, Facebook haven't. They just brushed it aside.
So you are the one that got these named on spam or not?
Pardon me? No, Facebook put these on spam.
So, okay.
The ones that I reported, they didn't. And they wouldn't show
It's
up.
like their algorithm reports some and some of it catches some and their algorithm doesn't catch others, which is not great.
Yeah, you can't rely on them. You have to rely on yourself.
Well, if I might be able to butt in right now, I just saw some news that Zuckerberg was changing the way that they are fact checking things. I think this was mostly about political things because I
Yeah.
think he got really embarrassed because the Russians used Facebook to defeat uh, Hillary in 2016. So he set it up so that there would be more fact checking, but he's changing it. He's getting rid of the humans and just relying on algorithms.
Yeah.
That doesn't affect this, though, does it, Mary?
Uh, I don't know. I don't know how much scam was picked up by the fact checkers. I really don't know how effective they were. But I'm sure we've all, if you spend any time on Facebook, you see things you know aren't true. But the kind of the nature of a scam is they do their best to make it look true. So you got this nice little happy white family profile of the self-employed neighbor who lives somewhere, he says, claims to live somewhere around you. And he makes it look like an attractive deal for a service that you need.
I got a question about that. I was thinking that when you have some type of business, you would have your own business Facebook page. So therefore, if you're cleaning, your icon would have something that deals with cleaning, or or a page. Why are they steady picking individuals for this? Is it because they know that you guys won't accept them if they have a business?
Because it's easy. This report has a link to a report of this duct cleaning scam and a follow-up by police in Canada. That and it was a case where the scammers stole a legitimate business's identity. So they didn't just grab somebody's picture, a husband and wife and cute kid. They took the link to an actual duct cleaning business and
Oh,
used telephone scams.
okay, got it.
Yeah. So, yes, all of these that I'm seeing, they're just claiming to be self-employed.
But I think what that says, Nanita, is that you had a gut feeling and intuition, right? So I think Mary, you'd probably agree. A lot of this, because I used to social for our for work, and I had to pay attention to a little bit of this. Not as detailed as you, Mary. This is great, but I think when you have that intuition, that gut feeling, like this is off, I think that that's another way you can kind of have an antenna up about the situation. Would you agree?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is exactly it. It, like they say, if it's too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. Um, but
Well, more than that, Mary, the first thing in a business sales attempt is name, address, and phone number,
right,
business card info. You're not seeing that.
no, these won't give name, address, and phone number. You'll see that they'll ask to private message to PM for contact, so that the contacts are done just through Facebook. So they're done through the false identity on Facebook.
And I noticed back under Mr. Fraudulent Belton, uh, there was a phone number, but if you paid attention, the area code was 512, which is nowhere near us. And he claims to be local. Now, yes, we've all encountered folks who've moved into the neighborhood and have kept their old phone number, but that in a business raises a question.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. This full report on Blue Screen is very interesting and it's worth following through with. This link is in the document that Kathy sent out yesterday. It gives a lot of information. It's a couple years old, a few years old, but you can see this is exactly the scam we're getting hit with.
Well, it's in two parts, Mary. The first one is 21, and he says, look at that first, start with your homework. But then he's got a much more recent document that builds
Oh,
upon it.
very good. I didn't follow through and look up the new document. There's so much information just following these links. We know what we're getting hit with. And here are exactly the warning signs. They don't state a business name, website, or phone number. The Facebook account, there's often newly joined the group. Well, some of these have been in our groups for a couple of years and keep showing up, like this Bolton guy. They show little or no activity on their profile. And you can go out and see their profiles, and they'll have a few random links, maybe another couple cute pictures of the kids, but nothing that identifies the person or the business. No business name or website, vague discount. In this case, they say the provided phone number turns up no Google results or shows an area code from a faraway region. They won't give the licensing information on demand. If they have the poster, yeah, the misspellings are clue too.
Can we talk a bit about the licensing? That had totally escaped me, but now that it's in black and white and you're mentioning it, I realize that this is a category of house maintenance and repair that comes with government protections, as in someone who's legitimate has to go to government, preferably state, local government, to get a license proving that they are able to handle this task.
Yes.
They are qualified and certified. What's more, that means there's an agency of state government that issued the license that you can take a complaint to.
Small business, a legitimate self-employed person who's doing duct cleaning will have a business license with the city of Little Rock. So if you're doing business in the city of Little Rock, you have a license.
Yep.
I would like to speak up again.
Yeah.
When the tree fell on my house, the first thing I did was go down to the city and ask them for a list of contractors who worked in the city. And they said they had a list, but they weren't going to give it out. They referred me to the state list of contractors, and I started going through that and, met a super salesman that I've never seen again, who convinced me that they were going to be able to do a good job, and they did a good job on my roof. I have been unhappy since then, but they did a good job on my roof. But you don't have to have a permit to do a roof in Little Rock. The city doesn't require that, but they do require construction permits and so forth. And that's another ball of worms, because then the guy comes out and inspects. My house had to be rewired. So the city inspector showed up once, and I knew I had to have 220 to get my floors refinished. So I told the electricians just to put up these simple lights, because their electrician warned me not to have ceiling fans there when somebody's refinishing your hardwood. I don't know whether that was true or not. The guy who refinished.
Oh, yeah, that's important. Good point.
Well, anyway, the electricians told me that the final inspection was the guy asked the company if they'd done what he told them, and they said yes. And he said, okay, you passed. So I didn't have to, I had lights put up and then replaced with ceiling fans. And the city inspector never showed up to really see that it had been done. There has to be outside electrical outlets at each door, and I have 3 doors. Well, the local company did their electrician didn't really install it right. They put GFCI downstream of an arc uh, uh, circuit breaker, which doesn't work, and they had to fix that. The rewiring was done. The neutral was touching a ground, and when I plugged an LED into that outlet, it flipped the circuit breaker off because it was an arc circuit breaker. Uh, there's a whole lot of things that can go wrong, but sometimes you can say the city rule on permits is sort of a scam to protect the local guys, uh, because they have a stranglehold on you. On the other hand, I don't know. I sort of wish they'd published a list of the local guys who do the repairs that I needed.
Robert, right now, every Monday, the city business license office updates the people who have paid for a business license, the entire list. So I don't know what
it's
this is
now
about handing you over one, but you can go to their website, the city website, and pull down the contractors who paid for business licenses.
so you're saying it's available now.
It's
Well, I
available in
could
the
have,
public and updated every Monday.
yeah, maybe I should have gone with one of those guys. I don't know. I just keep trying, and I'm not an expert at anything anymore, except I can fix a kitchen sink, a leaky kitchen sink drain now.
Well, let's get back to scams on the Facebook.
Okay, this lists some things you can do, but I think importantly, some things that you should not do. Don't contact the scammer yourself. Don't give them any personal information. Um, you can report them to Facebook, and I don't know. I guess the more that are reported, the better. And since they've opened back up all of these as pending on the coalition side, I might go through one more time and report them all one more time. I'm sure just their algorithms are handling them, but maybe the more the algorithm sees, the more chance they'll get them. I'd also be careful about reporting any individuals. Um, uh, I've known individuals who have been falsely accused, and they find it very annoying being shut down from Facebook for a while, particularly if they're trying to run a legitimate small business from Facebook.
Mary, could you?
Other ideas about now if you read completely through the document I gave you, or Kathy sent you, and all of this information, somewhere in here there is talk about following through with police, and of course that one with following through with to Pakistan. That is all in here.
Number 2. Mary, you're there. Number 2.
Yeah.
Basically cleaned out the coalition, but the Downtown Association has not, as far as we know, yet dealt with its potential fraud attempts. And so that is in a prime position at this point to make that telephone report, get a fraud detective working with the Downtown Association. Because remember, they're trying to send a local to your door and take money from you. It's not just, oh, well, something on the internet we can wipe out and we're done with it. And I would encourage everyone to follow through on her tracking back to these origins that are clearly criminal, and then reporting to the police and seeing what might be done in partnership with the police to, let's say, draw the scammer to somebody's front door. I think we call that a sting, and catch them and stop them. So I want you all to be thinking about that, who are in a position of authority or want to talk with your administrator for your Facebook page. Stopping it and not letting it on the page is one good thing to do. telling the local police so that they can catch the local crooks is another step to consider to protect your safety.
And one thing I would encourage all administrators of Facebook groups to do is to go through and take down these posts that are there. Let's see. There on the downtown neighborhood site, there's an October 2nd post for car cleaning that somebody has listed as a scam, and the June 4th Bradley Florist. Rip, you have your hand up?
I do, Mary. I had a question going back real quick. When you said don't report an individual, can you just clarify what you mean there? Because I would think that Brian Flores or Brandon Flores is considered an individual. I know it's a scam account. But how do you determine
Don't
individual?
contact them personally.
Right.
It is the recommendation that's given from the Blue Screen site, and it makes sense. They once they have your personal information, they may target you for more.
You had said though, don't report an individual. So
No,
what did
I had nothing against reporting. Oh, be careful if you report an individual that this really is a problem. This car cleaning one on the downtown neighborhood site somebody has put a comment in that's a scam, that was a fraudulent post.
I'm going to see who.
But is it really? And if it is a legitimate guy that's doing car cleaning,
that may just be a disgruntled customer.
It could be, or it could be a scam post. But be careful about reporting that individual if you aren't really convinced it's a scam.
Well, wouldn't that be decided in part by tracking back, as you have detailed how may be done, to see if the origins are distant, Pakistan, say?
You can't. We can't tell if an individual is from Pakistan.
Okay, then how did you get the Pakistan information you shared with us? I'm missing a piece.
Okay, let's go back to Facebook. And I'll go down to insights and membership. Okay, this shows our top contributors. When we think Chris Flores is a bad guy, we think Bobby Mathis is a good guy. I don't know, Jim.
So they name the frequency of posters.
Yeah, that's just, okay. I'm just going through what it's going to give you here. Then it comes down to the top countries. United States, Pakistan.
And they're just taking the group and running their little background measurements.
Yeah, these are where the Facebook users originate from. Now, if we had 2 or 3 from Pakistan, I'd not be concerned. I'd figure they might be doctors at the Med Center, professors at UA Little Rock. These aren't, people from Pakistan aren't necessarily bad guys. But it was interesting when I followed through on that duct cleaning scam, and that it is a particular scam known to have come from Pakistan, and then go check this on the coalition site and find out that we have so many members from Pakistan. And each of our members have been individually admitted to the list, trying to verify that they're from Little Rock.
Well, Mary, also, you might have a doctor that's, come to live downtown and wants to join us. Great. But they would basically be running local. They'd be in that Little Rock number. They wouldn't be out of Karachi, Pakistan.
No. If their Facebook originated from Pakistan, but they have stolen this picture of the friendly white family
No,
and made up
I'm
the
talking
name,
about the legitimate. I'm
we
sorry.
can't. Yeah, this doesn't say they're legitimate. This just says where they originated from. Now you might be seeing the picture of the cute white family, but what?
No, I'm asking this badly. You had said that certainly we would take into account the fact that we have multinationals in our medical community and our university community. But if they're coming to Little Rock and setting up a Facebook page, would that not be a U.S. or a Little Rock?
If
I
they
guess
set
I
it
don't
up
understand.
originally here, but we've had Facebook for quite a while.
And they
Maybe
might
they
just
set it up
move.
while they were legitimately living in Pakistan.
Okay. The tech
I
there
don't
is
know. I
puzzling
don't
me.
have an example, but I wouldn't. I would not have freaked out over a few from Pakistan and Little Rock. And they can show a current address of Little Rock. But when you see 48 out of 332,
Begins to raise suspicions. Appreciate
yeah.
that. Thank you.
Can I
I was
get a
gonna
little?
tell. Oh, I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead.
Rip.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say my friend who lives in Little Rock, born in Little Rock, she had changed her Facebook page to say she was from Bangkok. And I know you, if you put in your Facebook page where you born and where you live, you can change that. Now, if you move from a few cities, I think they'll list your top 5 cities of where you've been or where you're living. But I would I would look at that too because if they move around, they can be from anywhere or put whatever they want. I guess that's what I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
they can put whatever they want. And it doesn't matter where the Facebook page is really originated from, or the Facebook profile, wherever it really originated from. They can say anything they want.
So, Mary, do we know what we're seeing here, these countries and cities? Where is this data from? Is this from where someone puts on their profile, like
No,
born in Little Rock, or is this where the data is coming through the internet, from another country? It's being
yes.
sent over.
And
Okay.
I don't know if this says it's current traffic or if it's where the Facebook account originated from,
Okay. Like where they created it while they were in that country.
where they created it.
Well, regardless of all, or irregardless of that, having so many from Pakistan is an unusual, again, a red flag. So that's a good metric to look at. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, the downtown needs to look at that screen for the downtown rig. Rip.
Yeah, I mean,
See what
uh,
it shows.
I mean, I'm happy to start this. I definitely don't think I can do all of it because we have 7,000 people, and that's, Mary,
We
and
bite that bear one bite at a time.
exactly. And Mary, you and I can talk more because it would be
Yeah.
nice to maybe go through the standing list of people. I don't know if you did any research into how to clean lists up like that. Like new things coming in, you can filter them out as they, hit your account. But digging back into accounts that maybe are standing, I don't want to start getting in there and deleting people or causing, issues.
And I don't think it's necessary to. We have two things. If you want to take the extreme measure, of really trying to clean this up, that's one thing. But I think that it's our obligation as Facebook administrators and people who promote our own Facebook groups to make sure that what is posted is legitimate. So you can go back through the posts and get rid of those, or at least hide those 2 posts on the downtown neighborhood site without any trouble. But to actually go through all the members, my daughter administers a private. Oh, and another thing, if a Facebook group is public, it is much more open then the coalition group, which is private, where every member had to be admitted individually. My daughter administers a Facebook group with 27,000 members, and she says she hasn't seen any fraud. It's Hiking Arkansas, which is maybe not as good a target for as
Duck cleaning, not there. No.
yeah, most people looking for hiking things aren't looking for duck cleaning, as a neighborhood site would be. But it is also a private group. Yes.
It occurs to me that one fix going forward is something that's easy to do, and that is the old standby. You ask for anyone who wants to run a business ad on the Facebook page of your neighborhood to pay dues and become a member. And then what you do is you say, like we do in the downtown practice, we run our business ads on Tuesday only. And the next thing is we say, patronize our members. And we have the information that they are local because you get that when they've paid your dues. You don't get a ghost paying you money.
That sounds very good for neighborhood.
And that is a real good defense, I submit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm new to coming onto that team, so I think, Kathy, when we have our executive meeting next week, maybe this could be a brief point of conversation just to start it with Brittany and others, just so we kind of, I'm happy to sort of
policy.
spearhead
Yeah.
some of it, but and I don't want to belabor it here because I know this is a broader group, but it is going to be, I think, a full team effort. I mean, someone can get in there and do the nitty gritty, but we all got to get on the same page. Because my other concern too is we have multiple moderators, and at what level are they going to be educated on this and at the same pace? Are they going to go in and sort of diffuse what we're building here by approving a bunch of folks if they're not, and just out of lack of awareness? So we also may need to talk about, and this can apply to others groups, talk about who's moderating your group. Make sure they're all educated, because I believe we currently have about 5-6 people that are allowed to approve posts. So.
Well, one thing you can do is you can, since we're talking about Tuesday is when we run business ads, that can become the duty of one only, however many you've got, because that's a nice little separate divide. So that's a possibility of a policy to think about.
Well, and I think that's why it's important with my work. I was the main person responsible, but others would post, but they would communicate. And so I think it's good to have, and Mary, you might agree or disagree, but I think it's good to have one person that's kind of leading the charge. You have some assistants or helpers, but you want someone in there that kind of knows everything going on. They have the full scope.
The senior administrator, yes.
Yeah, because if you have a bunch of people all with equal roles, you just might, I don't know. That seems to me that would get messy. Mary, I don't know if you have any input or thought on that.
Yeah, that sounds good. I do think everybody should be educated. It doesn't take a whole lot to be told that we need to be aware of scams because they are actually happening.
Well, this wonderful memo that takes you through it step by step just needs to be very broadly circulated, Rib.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I'll try to bring it to our exec meeting and make it a point of issue. I do have one other question. In terms of sort of combating this beyond, marking these posts, I know, as fraud, Kathy, I know you've spoken about this too, bringing it to some higher authority, and you did kind of address that with the licensing. It seems like a lot, at least in our group, are trades realm posts. And I wonder if those organizations, those businesses would have skin in the game of getting this removed. And if they could be someone we could join with to combat this. I mean, they certainly don't probably appreciate, people falsifying others in their workspace. It kind of creates a bad, I think of my brother who does power washing. If there's a bunch of posts out there that we can't trust, when it's time for him to actually go post his real post, it may get denied, it may get overlooked, people don't trust it. So I wonder if there's some kind of organizations out there that would be willing to help advocate to push for better quality around this,
Have
monitoring.
you ever dealt with the Better Business Bureau, the old venerable BBB?
Well, I know of them. Yeah. I mean, I've looked things up online, but that's about the extent of it.
I think we really want to get freshly reacquainted with them because I think that is our way forward. Because it has aged in place, it is ours in the sense of our communities. And what we might do is make a fresh contact, and assuming they satisfy us that they're on the ball and that they're receptive to our concerns. What we might then be asking for is one, we post public service Facebook messages from the Better Business Bureau. If you're concerned, contact them, find out if the company that wants to service your home has a file open with the BBB, because that's what they offer is check out Joe Friendly and see if somebody's reported him to us and what we found out about it. Because that's what they do is verify stuff. And
Right.
then what we can also do, I think this is going on, I have to check that currently, is the really legitimate businesses will put on their website or their business card. I don't want to say that they're members of BBB, but they are in some fashion validated and accredited by the BBB. And we might be asking for folks to provide that level of certification before we carry their ad. But that's something to pursue.
Denise, did you have some?
Yeah. Yeah, there is a state board of HVAC/R for that profession to license them. What I was looking to see online, a lot of the boards have a drop-down list that you can search online for to see if someone is currently licensed.
So Joe Friendly should show up on the HVAC list.
I can't find access. I can't find a search function to give me a list. I saw a list of, what is it, CEU, but I don't even know what CEU is. So
Continuing education, isn't it?
well, but this had to do, this was in labor and licensing, so it was not that. I don't know what it was, but yeah, somehow I got there. So putting a little bit of a few requests in to them, since this has become an issue for duct cleaning, to see if there's something that they can do, because I know that some of the they used to be independent individual agencies. Now they all fall under the umbrella of labor and licensing. Some of them do have search functions, and you can search you can search for my name on the State Board of Accountancy list, and you can find me that I've got an active license. So that is, you can search there. So you were talking about where can we find information on if someone is currently licensed. I just can't figure out how to access that information for that particular group.
And we take back to the BBB. That may be a function they provide.
No, that's state licensing. That's different.
No, I'm telling you, the BBB may be able to go after something that's not sitting out there for you and me to find.
Well, that's possible. So might the state. And I believe on another point, I believe that the FBI also has a cyber crime unit, and they track down some of these things. And if there's enough of it, like stuff coming out of Pakistan, they may be working on it already, but contributing data for them would add to their case.
Yeah. And I'm thinking that the way to them is through the reporting to the Little Rock Police Fraud Unit.
Yeah, it can be. But yes, the FBI is the group that investigates, and InfraGard is the public-private partnership for security with the FBI.
You're saying InfoGuard?
Yes,
Is that spelled like it sounds?
I think so.
We can maybe come up with a link to send out to people, and a Better Business Bureau link too. That'll be my research job.
I don't know about contacts with them right now. I used to be a
We'll
member,
research that. We'll research
but
that.
it's very tightly held. Also, the state attorney general's office works on
They've got
fraud.
consumer protection. That's true.
If you are aware of anybody who's been caught up in this scam, but I think a lot of people can be caught by it and never know it happened. The way that it's described in the links in the report that was sent out, it would be easy to be caught with it and never know. You think you've got a bargain. This costs half the price of having Stanley Steamer, somebody come out and do it. They come out, they appear to do the work, and you pay them in cash. You don't know that $50 of that went to Pakistan.
Until
And
something
that they
happens.
didn't really
And
clean
you
it
discover they're filthy again. Still in
Yeah,
debt.
but how many of us climb into our decks?
No.
If somebody told you they were clean and it looks clean on the surface because they ran a vacuum through it, we don't know. Yeah. But if you hear of anybody, that would be a really good opportunity to follow through.
Well, we can put out a Facebook query in our neighborhood groups. Do you think you were scammed? Report. We're building protections in so that our neighbors aren't victimized in future. There's nothing wrong with asking people to tell it.
Yeah, especially when you have 9,000 members, you might have someone who was affected by it.
Well, you've given us something to look forward to do in 2025, Mary. Thank you.
Watch for scams. If you administer a page, or if you are a group, and they say groups are much more susceptible to this than pages. And groups, there are legitimate reasons for setting up groups, and one of them is that they get better viewings the way that the Facebook algorithms work these days. They get better viewings than a public page. But make sure that nothing is posted on the sites that you're responsible for or have interest in. If you notice something and you're not an administrator, notify the administrator and request that this post be brought down so people don't fall victim. And be suspicious yourself.
Whole new category of suspicion. We're falling into a world where
At
they're
least
all
be
out to
curious.
get you. And here's the proof. Once again.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to put a target on all your neighbors that you don't know. but be curious about why do we have so many posts for the same service?
Well, those were fascinating screens that you introduced me to, where the city of origin, the country of origin for members was there displayed by the Facebook headquarters, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
That was quite useful to me, and I did not know I had that tool in my kit. Thank you.
Okay.
Do we have any other questions or policy discussions that we want to offer up for the group discussion? Do we think we have some defenses now that we can pursue in our home neighborhoods? Let me also ask if Mary's willing to come speak in local neighborhood groups about this issue.
I
If
am.
you're invited, will you come, Mary?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And if I have a conflict on a date, I'll set another date with you.
That would be wonderful.
I will say that, and this goes back to Robert's point, what he was saying about Mark Zuckerberg, and I think it is mostly related to just moderation of rhetoric, certain rhetorics and freedom of speech, so to speak. He's apparently going to reduce a lot of his staff that moderate that, which, we've seen what's happened with the Twitter X platform. Some worry that that may be the way Facebook's going. I do think it's very smart for folks to get into this mindset of monitoring more, and not just the taking for granted that the social medias are going to do it. They're back
They're
in
withdrawing from their
right,
oversight
right, and
all
that
around. Yeah.
purposeful or not, for whatever motive they have. I think it would be just as we're trying to sort of regain ourselves through our local politics, neighborhood groups, reorienting maybe away from the national scene and more local. I think we should do that with our social media and kind of take a hold of it. So, Mary, I think this is very timely at the beginning of the new year, and I think I would, as I'm going to try to do with the downtown group, I would urge everyone to do the same for yours, so that our pages can be resources of trust and safe posts and less fraud.
One of the things too that I'm working on, as you know, I'm not very skilled at this, but I have become focused on the virtues of Google Drive, and I'm working on opening up an account for the coalition where we can deposit such as this memo. This isn't the kind of a thing that you can put on your Facebook page. It is not something that you assume everyone keeps because I emailed it out on January the 10th. But if I have a place in Google Drive where it sits available to anyone who realizes that they want it or lost it and want to get it back again, then we have another information and research offering that we're going to continually refer people to. So look for that to be developed in the coming weeks. And you might consider doing a duplicate of that once again in your home neighborhoods, because most of us do not have and cannot afford websites. But this is a tool in the kit of little old neighborhood groups that can't afford anything, can still have a library of information that is maintained for people who lose it and want to get it back. We all have crashes. For the newcomers, the incoming president, they should know what's in the files for Central High or the Downtown Association. And they should know that there is this other library of material that the coalition maintains. So more on that as it develops. I will send out a link when I post something. But once again, we don't assume that those emails stay. But knowing that you've got this resource is the important thing I want to leave you with today. Do we have any other points we want people to make or share?
Nothing for the larger group, but Kathy and maybe Mary, if you want to stay on, I just wanted to have a suggestion for a speaker at an upcoming meeting.
Okay.
Run
We
it
will,
by
we will
you.
stay for a minute while everybody else wants to leave. I think we're going to shut down the recording. We will call the official meeting adjourned for January the 11th. Thank you so much.